Recently, pop singer Brandon B-Capp resident of Houston, Massachusetts, with over 12,000 followers on Twitter, stopped by Southeastern's performing arts shop. I sat down with him and spoke more about his blossoming career.
What made you want a career in music?
I think what made me want a career was just, I was like a little kid, growing up and everything, and I would always, obviously like watch the music videos, Michael Jackson, like all those great like icons growing up, and I don't know, I always had like a knack for like performing and entertaining and stuff, so I guess I wanted to be just like them, but I always did my own thing at the same time.
If you had to choose two people, who would you say were your musical inspiration?
I'd say probably growing up would be Michael Jackson, of course. Everyone has their own opinion, but he's, in my opinion, the greatest ever. And also too, like musically, Chris Brown, just because he's, his performance, like the aspects that he brings to the table when he hits the stage, like the dancing, the singing, everything he writes, so basically, like I do all that stuff as well. So like I really watch him and like learn, like when I'm watching Chris. So, and I grew up with his music as well. So between them two, I'd say like those were my two biggest inspirations and stuff growing up.
Do you write your own songs?
Yes, I do write my own songs. I've written songs from scratch, and like I wrote one song called Reach for the Sky, and I actually, like me and Cine Stories, Scott Baer is he's the head guy over there. So we actually like we directed the whole like video, you know what I mean? So like, we mapped out a storyboard, we did like this dope like concept, trying to, like I've also acted for 15 years. So like we got to like bring that whole acting dynamic and like put a great storyline behind it. Just trying to be something different and, show like a little B-Capp flavor that's different than, just kind of like what the generic artist is doing. So yes, I do write my own songs. I've done co-writes, and I've sang a few songs that I actually, were just dope tracks. So I mean, I guess like the higher up you get, you gotta kind of understand that, like, because I love writing everything, but sometimes you can't. You just gotta do it sounds good sometimes,
What was your first reaction when you realized people liked your stuff and you were becoming famous?
I don't know. I mean, it was cool. Like I guess like I'm really humble, things are like really, really gonna take off. Things have taken off like a lot this year, but next year's the year where things are like, this year, it's like, especially the fall's been so busy, it's gonna set up for next year, and we're just gonna blow. Like next year is gonna be great. So, but I mean, I would say that like seeing like a fan's reaction, and all that good stuff, like it's great, and it feels like, it feels really cool when someone can like listen and watch you and just appreciate it, and treat you like a star, because that's like, that's the main reaction that I think all of us performers would want. So I'm really lucky, I'm blessed, because I usually do get like a nice, I'm building up a really nice fan base.
Would you say you can still go out in public and people not recognize you?
Yeah. It depends where I go. I mean, I did a show down at Patriots Place, Showcase Live, near, next to Gillette Stadium. So, like, when I did that show, I did 2 or 3 shows around the same time. And basically, like, I went back to go see a concert there, like, later on. And, like, later on, a couple weeks after, and, like, there was definitely people that were, like, looking, coming over, like, give me a hug or whatever. So, like, that was cool, but it depends where I go, because, some places I go and, some people don't know me yet, but all that I know is, like, they will at some point, It's about getting out there.
And what did you first start acting?
I started acting when I was, like, 3 and a half. So I went to a performing arts school, like a theatric. That's why I'm so, like, theatric. I'm so big with everything, because, that's, like, my background. So, singing, acting, dancing for 15 years. And, in between, I did, my own solo music stuff. And also, too, I did, like, I went on my own acting runs. I did stuff in New York and everything. So, I mean, really, like, my whole life has been catered to my career, and just bettering myself and, creating something great,
Growing up as a kid, did you ever think you would be where you are now?
Yeah, I did. Growing up as a kid, I don't know, sometimes, kids like, obviously kids have dreams and stuff. The only problem, like, with nowadays is that when people have dreams, it's like, I think adults push, have a dream, go out, believe and all this stuff. But then at one point, you know, usually at the beginning of high school, everyone starts, I don't know about that, you know, it's kind of challenging, it's too hard, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, you know, as kids, you know, or as, you know, teenagers, like, we start losing those dreams that we had since we were little kids. And I just don't believe in that stuff, you know. Since I was like a little kid, I always believed that this is what I'd be doing, and I'd be very successful in it. And, you know, I work really hard to boot, and I have a great team around me. So, yes, I absolutely always seen myself here.
What's your favorite memory ever since you started your career?
I don't know, there's been a lot. I think just probably like, you know, some of the reactions I get from like some of the fans that I have. You know, some of the I have fans that are like real young, you know, to really old. I have like, I think that's what makes me like a special type of artist, is that I'm universal. Like, you know, all my music is clean, like it's mainstream stuff, and it can appeal to like all different age groups. I think that's important. So, I don't know, I think one of my favorite memories would probably be just a couple different like specific shows that I can remember where the audience embraced it so much, and like afterwards, you know, getting to meet all the different fans, all the different ages, and you know, have them say, you know, different things to me like, oh my God, like that was amazing, or you know, like I could really see you there, like I think you're just as good as anyone out there. Like those are the things that, you know, I thrive off of. I love hearing that stuff. It's, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, but getting a compliment is always a nice thing. It'll always make your day, you know.
What are your other hobbies?
My other hobbies, I love to box. I've been boxing. I'm cousins to the late great Rocky Marciano. He was the only undefeated heavyweight champion in boxing history, so he's a legend. We're cousins to Rocky, so basically boxing's been in my family. My dad was a boxing promoter. My uncle was a champion, so you know, I grew up with boxing all the time in the house. And then, you know, at one point I'm like 12. I'm like, you know, let me go in there and mix it up. And obviously at first I sucked, you know, but as I, you know, worked, I got better and better and better. And, you know, at one point I was a beast. So just like in anything, like, you know, you assert yourself, you work hard, you'll get great at it. So boxing has been like an outlet in my life that I've loved, because it gave me a lot of confidence. Obviously, it's a great way to stay in shape. You know, like physical, like, you know, being in shape is a big deal with me and everything, because, you know, to go up on stage and sing and dance for, you know, a half an hour plus, that's a workout. So, you know, cardio-wise and just physically, I have to be in tip-top shape all the time. So it's like a 24/7 job. But boxing is something I love to do. And obviously, like I love my family. I have you know, a couple true few friends that are like awesome, you know what I mean, that I can trust with everything. So hanging out with them, my family, like, you know, those are the times that I love the most, because as people, we're always working, you know, so I like the downtime. I like being low key, you know.
For more information on Brandon Cappiello, visit his website at www.bcapp.com or follow him on Twitter at @B_Capp.